Trustees meeting. It is January 9th, 2024 at approximately 5:30 p.m. Mr. Burning, may we please have the roll call?
Yes, Ms. Braun?
Here.
Mr. Burning?
Present.
Mr. Harlow?
Present.
All trustees are present.
Could we now all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The first thing that we have on our agenda this evening is approval of minutes from our regular session on December 12th, 2023, and our regular work session organizational meeting on December 18th, 2023. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Well, that would be you, Joe, since Ms. Braun will have to excuse herself. She wasn't present at those meetings.
You weren't here.
I wasn't here.
You weren't here for that one. I'll second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next, Mr. Burning, can we have the fiscal officer report?
Yes, Mr. Honolaw, for the month ending November 30th, 2023. That's the right one. Hold on a second.
No figures. There's no figures in there.
Yes, I know, this is last month. I don't know why she gave me this.
There's no figures.
Because we're still working to close out the year end for 23, the numbers will be
Right.
posted on the website as soon as possible. So,
Yeah, we're closing the year out, so the numbers will be up, but I do request a motion to approve the receipts, warrants, payroll expenditures for the period ending December 31st, 2023. Do I have that motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. And I just want everyone to know that financial reports are available for viewing on at the administration office during regular business hours or on our website 24/7. Thank you, Mr. Honlow.
yeah, thanks, Mr. Burney. Yeah, the finance office, as the board is aware, every year, we're busy closing out the end of 23, which includes the month of December. As a result, so new into the new year, those final numbers for December aren't fully
Clear, yeah.
calculated yet. They will be here soon, and then we'll post those as soon as they're completed.
Thank you. Okay, next, moving on to departmental action and discussion items. Mr. Gilbert, do we have the administrator's report?
We do. Thank you, Mr. Hunterlaw. As the board is also aware, this time of year, we generally don't have a lot of action items because we took so many actions at our organizational meeting at the end of the year. But moving forward into the new year, we do have the renewal of the agreement that we have with Colerain Township, one of two agreements that we actually have with that entity, to provide first responder service to the neighborhood of West College Hill. The public may or may not be aware, but because the township is so geographically spread out, we have areas that aren't contiguous, and as a result makes it very hard to provide service delivery to those areas, especially as it relates to paramedic and fire service. Due to that, in trying to be more efficient with tax dollars as opposed to building fire stations and manning those stations in areas where the run volume isn't great, we reached out to our neighboring communities to see if they'd be willing to provide first responder service into those communities to respond to that emergency much faster than we can respond to either one of our two fire stations. And we've been very successful with that program, both with Colerain Township for West College Hill and Pleasant Run Farms, as well as with Springdale for the Hollydale neighborhood. And then we also have an agreement with the city of Reading for the Edgemont neighborhood on the east side of 75. That has allowed us to provide very quick response time to those areas, but save hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars that it would take to build and man stations to simply serve such a small population in those neighborhoods. So it's been very successful. The agreement that I have before you today is simply a renewal of the one-year contract that we had with Colerain for only the West College Hill neighborhood. The Pleasant Run Farms contract with Colerain Township will not expire until the end of this year, actually. Is it 25 or 24?
2025 it'll
Okay, so
expire.
the end of 25.
Yeah.
That was a 3-year agreement.
Yes.
This was a 1-year agreement, so what I'm looking for is simply to renew the agreement as previously approved. Nothing's changed other than term, so just a new 1-year term, and would allow them to respond and be paid then on a per-run basis.
I think just to add, just to let you
Yeah.
know that the total number of runs that we're counting over there in the year of last year was only 12 runs, so it's not a significant amount of runs. So it's a great opportunity for us to do this, but only at a minimal number of runs.
But at the same time, we feel like we can provide better service to West College Hill.
Yeah, and we still respond to those calls. They send their first responders there to get there, and then we'll send, if we have to do transport or anything like that, we'll still have our squad does respond. So.
It allows for a 4 to 5 minute response time
Yes.
rather than a 12 to 13 minute response time it would take from us to get here from Station 70 on.
Yep.
Yeah, it does.
So with that, unless there are any questions regarding the agreement, I would just entertain a motion to authorize me to sign that agreement with Colerain Township.
Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
Yep,
Sarah?
second, yep.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
The next I have is our annual canine agreements with our 2 police officers that are our canine handlers. That would be Zachary Davis and Jim Sheeler. We have 2 canine units. Those 2 individuals have been our canine handlers for the last, at least Jim, probably for the last decade.
Yeah, forever.
And I know Zach was probably for the last
2 years
2
ago.
years. Both are doing very well. So just our standard canine agreements that we approve at the beginning of every year for those 2 individual officers. Unless there are any questions regarding those, I would entertain a motion to approve those agreements.
Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next, we have the personnel update. Let me get to it here on my. In the administration department, we had the end of term for trustee Christy Dukes Davis. That term ended December 31st of 23, and then we have the newly elected term beginning January 1st of 24 for Sarah Braun. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
In the fire department, no activity, in the police department, no activity, which is frankly a miracle.
Good.
Given the previous year and all the turnover we had in those 2 departments, for no other reason than just individuals retiring, as well as part-timers in the fire moving on and getting full-time jobs. So not that we had a lot of turnover for any negative reason, it's just the product of the times. And in the public works department, we had the promotion of Neil Rutherford from a part-time laborer to a full-time laborer position. I'm glad Neil decided to come on full-time. Just in time too for the winter season, so that's good. No other activity in the DART department or Arts Community Center department for the month of December. So unless there are any questions regarding that, I'll turn it over to Kim for Community Invention Programs.
Thank you. We did get through our grand opening, and I'd like to thank everybody for their support and getting us to the point where we are right now. Classes are going and going very, very strong. We just had our first day on Monday. Today is day 2, and very minor bumps in the road, but it's going very, very well. Our next event for the year is going to be the Daddy-Daughter Dance, and that is going to be on February the 17th, and the Mom Prom, which is on March 16th, and both of those do have tickets that are still available.
Thank you, Kim. I know it's been a long year getting the Art Center back up and operating, and I was glad to see the turnout, even on a weekday, 10 in the morning. Wasn't too bad. Kim was referring to bump in the roads. We all have a little PTSD from last Christmas when the building flooded. Scott likes to say he has PTSD from that. So anytime we mention water in the Arts Center is generally bad. Unfortunately, due to some of the ground disturbances that happened around the Arts Center to put in the new sprinkler system main line, we think that because that ground hasn't settled quite yet, that a lot of this rain has permeated that trench and is now coming through the basement floor due to hydrostatic pressure. But, it's not all bad. It's in an area of the building that isn't necessarily finished. What I mean by finished, I mean, it's an unfinished space.
Boiler room.
Yeah, sort of. So we're
Sort of,
that's a technical term, by the way.
sort of, kind of.
So we've contained it to that area until we can get a company out here to figure out exactly what we need to do in order to prevent it from permeating the building. So that's the bump in the road that she's referring to. I think at least the major bump in the road anyway. So we're working it out. You know, it would be dull if we didn't have some sort of chaos going on. So with that, you know, we are continuing to work toward permanent appropriations. Obviously, we're working under temporary appropriations at this point. This is always a busy time of year, even though there's really a lot of actions on tonight's agenda. Trying to get between now and permanent is always a busy time. So we will continue to work toward that for our March meeting. The board has copies of the departmental activity report, so unless there are any questions of those, that would conclude my report.
Thank you, Mr. Gilbert. And I would take just the opportunity, I had the chance to go back to the Arts Center this past weekend, Friday night, when we were having a lot of events and all the people that were there. And I just want to thank Kim. Kim, without your vision and your effort, that would not be where it is. And, you know, I think I can say on behalf of the board and all the citizens of the township, we thank you very much for the above and beyond effort that it takes to turn it into what it was.
It's definitely a group effort, but thank you very much.
Sorry we picked on you on Friday.
You'll have to come back there.
There's a very nice article written up about the Arts Center and Kim's work and the community in the Cincinnati Magazine.
Very good. Thank you. Okay. Next on our agenda, we're going to move on to resolutions. The first resolution that we have this evening is Resolution Number 8, 2024, authorizing private sale of unneeded and unfit for use property in the police department. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Ms. Braun?
Aye.
Mr. Burning?
Aye.
Mr. Honolo?
Aye.
Resolution carries.
Next, we have Resolution Number 9, 2024, declaring motor vehicles located on public or private property in Springfield Township, Hamilton County, Ohio, to be junk motor vehicles pursuant to RC 505.173 and ordering the removal of such vehicles pursuant to Resolution Number 80, 2012, and RC 505.871. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Braun?
Aye.
Mr. Burning?
Aye.
Mr. Honolo?
Aye.
Resolution carries.
Next, we have Resolution Number 10, 2024, and this is a resolution authorizing sale by internet auction of unneeded, obsolete, or unfit for use property in the police department. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Braun?
Aye.
Mr. Burning?
Aye.
Mr. Honolo?
Aye.
Resolution carries.
Next, we have Resolution Number 11, 2024, declaring nuisances pursuant to Ohio Revised Code Section 505.87 at various listed properties within Springfield Township and authorizing statutory actions necessary to abate the nuisances. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Braun?
Aye.
Mr. Burning?
Aye.
Mr. Honolo?
Aye.
Resolution carries.
And finally, we have Resolution Number 12, 2024, establishing assessment for abatement of nuisance and certifying same to the Hamilton County Auditor. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Braun?
Aye.
Mr. Burning?
Aye.
Mr. Honolo?
Aye.
Resolution carries.
Okay, Next this evening, do we have any old business before the board?
I do not.
Do we have any new business before the board this evening?
The only thing I would ask for is at the conclusion of citizen participation and prior to adjournment, I'm going to need an executive session. And that executive session is authorized under Ohio Revised Code 122.22G1. The matter is to discuss or consider the discipline and/or investigation of charges of a public employee.
Thank you, Mr. Gilbert. With that then, we're at the point of the meeting for citizens' participation. If there's anyone here that would like to address the board this evening, we would ask that you step forward to the podium and state your name and address, and we'd ask everyone else remain quiet so we can hear the speaker. Yes, ma'am.
Is this, okay, yeah, it is. Good evening. My name is Charlene Myers, and I'm the director of Focus Cincinnati that is working with Holy Trinity St. Nicholas Church, which is at 7000 Winton Road. And that's probably the more pertinent address than my personal one, although it's 2981 John Gray Road. Holy Trinity St. Nicholas is partnering with Focus Cincinnati to do monthly meal service at the church, and we're interested in getting the word out. We have flyers if we're permitted to pass them out, if that's okay. Seth will pass them out, if that's okay. And we're really interested in getting people to come to the church to have these monthly meals. They're going to be on the fourth Thursday from 5 to 7. We are going to try and work with the schools to get the flyers out, and we'd appreciate any suggestions. And if you could help us get the flyers out, we'd appreciate it. We so far handed out at Christmas time or holiday time 155 hams to the community. There's a weekly food pantry that happens at the church, and so we're really interested in this other layer, which is to feed the community once a month through a community meal. So having concluded that, we'll pass out the flyers, and again, look forward to you helping us in any way to get the word out if we could.
Absolutely. We'll utilize the information on the flyer to put it out on our social media channels.
Oh, perfect. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Would you all like a copy, or you just want one flyer?
I'd like that.
Yeah,
Sure.
Just pass them around.
Charlene, is this,
Thank you.
is there any qualifying criteria for this? I mean, can anyone in Springfield Township come?
Yeah, anyone in Springfield Township can come. Probably the only drawback is they would have to physically drive to the church. So, and it is in Springfield Township. It's just down the block here. So that would probably be the only drawback, is if transportation was an issue. But yeah, anybody can come at all. So
I'll ask the question that everyone's thinking but no one's saying. Will we have baklava for dessert at these?
no, not this time, but we could try. Actually, we have an excellent cook.
Somebody will make it.
Yeah. At some point, yeah. Any other questions? All right, thank you for allowing me this opportunity. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. Is there anyone else who would like to address? Yes, ma'am. Or we have Mr. Rivers coming here.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Hi,
A
Joe.
long
How are
time.
you?
Joe Rivers, president of Seven Hills Action Group. I got 3 issues I just want to address today. One of them is the Frost Park. This year, I want to really try to get more involved with the park, and fixing it up and adding things. We doing pretty good last year. Scott been really working with me on it. But my main objective this year is try to get the park a little bit better shape, and so the kids around there have something to do and somewhere to go and play. And my next issue is we got a lot of vacant houses out there that's been sitting for about, years. And I need some information on what can I do or what can we do to get those houses sold or get them tore down, or, I think we've addressed this issue 2 or 3 times before. And somebody can just tell me what to do, what can we do about it, Especially just like we got one on Spruce Hill, that's probably at least 20 years. One on Misty Hill is probably at least over 20 years, been sitting vacant. And a couple of neighbors on the street, they, keeps asking about it and what, how long would it stay vacant like that. I think the one on Spruce Hill is being held up for taxes, I believe. That's what they keep telling me. So
I mean, Joe, you and I have had these conversations quite a bit.
Yeah, we have,
And I think, the answer to your question is not an easy one. It's complicated.
Right.
The short answer is it depends. It depends on what the individual circumstances of that particular property is. So, for example, if it's in tax foreclosure, which sometimes we have to let that process play out because that's outside of our control. If it's otherwise being maintained, and what I mean by that is if it's not to a point where it's deteriorated so bad that it can be declared a dangerous property under the state code, then we can't tear it down. So it really depends, and we'd have to look into every individual situation because they're all different.
Right.
So I think what I would suggest is, give me those 2 or 3 addresses that you're mentioning.
Okay.
Let us take a deep dive into exactly what the issue is with those properties, and then I can get back to you with a better answer. Because until I know exactly what's going on with them, it's really going to depend on what we can or can't do with them.
And I know a couple of people that are really interested in buying them.
Sure.
So, we can get them sold and they can get them fixed up and put them on the market or something. But I know, I think the one on Misty Hill is probably not repairable because it's got a collapsing basement. And the one on Spruce Hill, I think it's the same way. The basement just don't caved in. That's why it's been sitting for years.
Well, it would stand to reason then if they're like that, they're probably tax delinquent, at which point we can go to the port and try and acquire them that way.
Yeah.
So, like I said, let's just figure out exactly what's going on with them, then I'll be able to circle back with you and let you know exactly
All
what
right,
we can do.
okay. And,
Get us the addresses.
okay, I sure will.
The Illinois County Land Bank oversees that with the Port Authority, and there is an expedited procedure for them to try and get properties so long as they are tax delinquent. If somebody's paying the taxes and they're not a dangerous property,
They can sit that way forever.
there's not much you can do about it.
Really?
But if they are a dangerous property, or if they are tax delinquent, then that can be a different story.
And what I would guess is if they were dangerous, we'd already be on top of it, having a process to tear down. So they're probably not to a point where they can be declared dangerous. It's probably a situation where they're either tied up in probate or some other issue like that. And we kind of have to let those legal processes play out before we can really intervene in that, do anything with the property.
See, I always thought when you're behind on the taxes, they usually audit them out, auction them off or
It
something.
depends. Like I said,
Yeah,
it depends.
Well, they have a tax auction every year.
Yeah,
Doesn't mean somebody buys them. People can go look at it and say, hey, the basement's falling in, I'm not touching it.
right.
But they do, if they're delinquent in taxes, they have a tax sale every year down at the administration building.
So if it gets like that, can we just maybe tear it down?
If it's a dangerous
Dangerous,
property,
yeah.
Yeah, I'd say it is.
Yes, we can.
Well,
Especially the one on Spruce
you
Hill.
might say it is. State law
Yeah.
probably says something else.
Yeah.
So there's certain criteria that it has to meet in order to be declared dangerous. Just because you and I think it may be, it's kind of irrelevant. Does it meet
Right.
the criteria in state law? So again, I don't really want to hypothesize about each one of these until we really can dive in and see exactly what's going on with them.
Okay, then.
We did tear down a house last year, so it.
Oh, you did
can be
tear down
done.
one
Yeah.
last year? Did
It's a
you?
dangerous property. It takes a long process, but we can eventually tear them down.
Okay. And how about, do we get any roads done this coming 2024?
Yes. Go ahead, Chris.
Yes.
So there will be roads done, not necessarily in Seven Hills. And, again, you and I had this conversation.
Yeah,
And, Kathleen and I, just as recently as yesterday, had a meeting with Metro about the bus situation
Yes,
that we've dealt
yeah.
with, as well as the possibility of applying through their funds in order to repave possibly portions of Seven Hills, Roosevelt, and
Seven Hills, Roosevelt, and Spruce Hill, right?
Bruce Hill,
Yeah.
Yep. So 24, no, we are paving roads in the township. We have 400 streets in the township.
Right.
We are paving roads in the township, just not in Seven Hills, but we are working toward some improvements to address some of the issues that you and I discussed. And like I said, we just had a meeting as recently as yesterday regarding Metro, regarding those things.
So you might are you going to do maybe those 3 streets you just
It
mentioned?
won't be in '24.
It will not be in 24, really?
Because with Metro, the funding wouldn't even be available, and we have a very short construction window in order to pave roads. It's generally between March and, say, October. Outside of those windows, if we don't have the funding available through Metro in order in time to get the bid project out, and it's just,
Now, when you're saying Metro, you talking about the bus Metro?
they have a funding program that
Good.
allows you to obtain grants to
Okay.
pave township roads. But even if we apply for it and we get awarded, the money won't be available in time for me to pave the roads in '24. It would have to go into the spring of '25.
Okay, so Spruce Hill is really jacked up,
Right.
right there at Roosevelt and
Yes.
Spruce. I mean, it's just jacked all up, you know. They patch it and it comes right back out, you know.
I have
So what's the deal
I have
with-
13 neighborhoods that'll tell me the same thing about streets and nerves. I don't
Yeah.
get it.
Well, we've been complaining about it for quite a while
have they.
now, you know. What's the deal with the Metro? They still kind of trying to reroute it?
Yeah, well, actually, we're not trying to reroute it. We're trying to get them off the township road and do a turnaround in the shopping center right off of Hamilton.
Okay, where you at on that? That's, you know, I mean, is that gonna happen or?
They act like they would like to do it. We just have to figure out a way to do it. And that's going to take the cooperation of the property owner who owns the shopping center, because that's private property.
Okay. Now, what about the old Kmart lot?
That's in Forest Park.
They got nothing to do with 7 Hills. Okay, so we had to do it.
Well, it's obviously near your neighborhood, but I have zero control over Forest Park.
All right, well, that's it for me. That's what I have.
right.
Like I said, I want
Good to see you again, Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Been a while.
Thanks
Good
for
to see all
coming,
you
Joe.
guys. I'm gonna be vigorously trying to get Frost Park turned around.
And we obviously have plans to make some improvements
Right,
there. We
right,
have the money
right.
available.
Right.
So we'll be doing that this spring and summer.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah, another question we was trying to figure out. Who's that park named after? Did we,
I remember, yeah.
You've stumped me. I have no idea.
anybody know?
No.
Yeah, we was trying to figure it out, because we was thinking about changing the name.
I have no
But
idea.
if it's somebody that contribute a lot, we don't want to do that, but,
Well, we also have to look at the deed. There may be some deed restriction that requires it to be named that. I don't know.
because we want to change it to 7 Hills Park.
I thought you wanted to name it the Joe
Joe
Rivers.
Rivers.
Park.
Joe Rivers.
Nah. Okay, that's all right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Joe.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello, my name is Sandra Presley. I'm the Senior Branch Manager of the North Central Public Library. Our address is 1110-9 Hamilton Avenue. I am here to just share a snippet of how our year went last year, but also, first off, I want to thank Kathleen Kennedy, Kim Flam, Morgan Fraley, and Lori Rusnick for assisting me with my transition. I was the manager of the Price Hill Branch Library, and I came all the way from the west side to manage the North Central Branch Library, and they were a great help, so I really appreciate them. I'm thrilled to share a snapshot of the library's impact on the community. We have served as a vital hub. The North Central Branch is by far more than our building. It's a vibrant community hub for enjoyment, learning, and connection and life-changing resources for our community members. Last year, we welcomed a monthly average of 6,000 plus visitors, circulated a monthly average of 7,000 materials. That's books, DVDs, etc. We also hosted on average 30 plus programs per month, and that includes our in-house programming and outreach to the community. With our programs, community members have let us know that they're very engaging and they resonate with them well. From book clubs to computer classes, story times to crafting clubs, these initiatives attract a diverse audience, fostering learning and connection. And with the times, they're changing, so we have to embrace technology. And we're not just about our physical materials. We've evolved with the technology and promoted our online resources, virtual events to our community members who enthusiastically come back and thank us for our assistance with job searches and letting us know that they got the job we helped them with, or finding the right book for their child, or even finding the right TV series for them to enjoy. And again, with thanking our ladies over there, we have worked on collaborations with the community. So our partnerships with specifically our Northwest School District, you are a vast township, one of the most unique that I've ever experienced. And so you cover a lot of our branches. So my branch serves the Northwest School District solely. But we also were able to partner with the the Arts Connection and attend your grand opening. So congratulations to you all. It was a wonderful opportunity to see the space and see some of our community members who regularly visit our story time sessions. And through partnering with our community partners, it's allowed us to amplify our impact as well as empower community members, and we're looking to increase our efforts for 2024. So looking ahead, we aim to enhance the experiences for our customers and fostering the community relationships. We also want to ensure that our library remains a welcoming community hub with resources for minds of all kinds. Our library is a dynamic force for our community, and we try to unite everyone by adapting to its evolving needs. I'm very excited about the journey ahead, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity and for your support. And if anyone has any questions or would like to speak with me, feel free to stop by the North Central Branch Library. I'd love to chat. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So before I'm sorry, go ahead.
There's another.
Oh, is there? Okay.
Yes,
Hey.
yes, sir.
Hi, I'm Fred Conrad, 2081 Misty Hill Drive, also with the Seven Hills Action Group with Joe in the community. And I wanted to welcome Sarah. That was the main thing I wanted to do. So, but the island thing, that got me really thinking, because a really good example is in College Hill, they have this thing, they're doing a Vision Zero, and they're like kind of redesigning North Bend Road. And there's a lot of things going on, and there's going to be a lot of changes, I'm sure. And I think in 2025, they're going to kind of make a final decision and repave it and maybe do another traffic pattern with the painted lines. And I was looking at the islands in like West College Hill, and there's even another little one up there by Daly, by Argus. I think it's Maria Drive, and those are like little areas where Springfield Township dips down and then it comes back out again. And I was just wondering there would be a way to collaborate to kind of make a connected network on North Bend, like say all the way from Simpson to Winton Road, where you get maybe the township would need to be involved in Hamilton County because they are the one that maintains North Bend because it's a road. I think you told us if it ends in a road, Hamilton County takes care of it.
That's one of the clues, but also if there's striping on the road, it's probably generally a county or a state route as well.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure North Bend would be a township road. But
North Bend's county.
North Bend's County.
It is. Yeah, I was wondering, how would you get everybody involved to like kind of come up with an agreed upon way to make this final solution in 2025?
That's a good question, Fred. Getting the city and the county together to agree on how to maintain traffic on a roadway, I'm going to have to get back to you on that because I don't know.
Ultimately, it would be the county that would decide.
It would be the county. Obviously, we would have to facilitate that conversation or tell them we would like them to do that, but we would have no jurisdiction over it. That's the county and the city, obviously, because it's not unlike what you have on Vine Street now, right, where you have it goes from 4 to 3 lanes when you get into Wyoming, and that's the difference between the county and the city of Wyoming. So you'll probably most likely have a similar issue on North Bend where whatever the city ends up doing, it will be the complete opposite of what the county does on their portion of North Bend.
Yeah, I just didn't know if there'd be somebody, like, say, if the city of Cincinnati, which runs College Hill, or somebody in College Hill, they could work with somebody they would be working with somebody in Hamilton County, not Springfield Township.
No, but what I will do is it's every 2 months, but it seems like it's been quarterly. I have quarterly meetings with the county engineer. So I'll bring this issue up with him and see if he spoke with anyone in the city or if he plans to, and then I'll let you know.
Yeah, and I probably could find out a spokesperson for the College Hill that could meet too, if that would be possible. I don't know.
Again, that'd be up to them. I mean,
I do know somebody on their board. I could find out if that meeting comes together, I could definitely find out who they need to meet with in College Hill.
Okay. All right, well, great. Thanks.
Thanks, Fred.
Thanks.
Thank you.
You know, and Joe, you asked a question earlier about why Frost Park is named Frost Park. Well, our in-house intelligence officer, Ms. Kennedy, through the miracle of Google, she found that it's named after the school, Frost Elementary School, that used to be on that property. The school was then named after a longtime teacher named Ethel Frost. So there's the answer.
Okay.
So now you can sleep better at night now that you know the answer to that.
Yeah.
And you can tell everybody.
So we don't stand a chance of changing.
I don't know how strong the lobby for Ethel Frost is, so we'll have to see.
Yeah. Is there any, is there,
We'll come back to that.
that's good. Is there anyone else that would like to address the board this evening? If not, then I believe we need a motion to go into executive session for
For the purpose of discussing or considering the investigation and/or discipline of a public employee.
do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Actually, that's a roll call vote to go into.
Sarah?
Aye.
Ms. Braun, I apologize. Ms. Braun, Mr. Bernie,
Aye.
Mr. Honolo?
Aye.
We're in executive session.